All right, man. Look, I finally get a chance to share my, thoughts, my viewpoint on what occurred 2 days ago in regards to the announcement that Derek Carr could possibly miss a significant portion or the entire season, the entire 2025 season for your New Orleans Saints. This was reported on Friday by Ian Rappaport, but then will be quickly, curated, aggregated among other well-known NFL insiders around the league. Now, when it came out, when the news came out on Friday, I couldn't really get to it and really, you know, develop a viewpoint or opinion on the situation because it happened just out of the blue. I was at work at my day job, right? And I just, just went in and just checked my phone. Just check Twitter for any, updates that came out, anything, Saints related. And lo and behold, I hit refresh on it, right? On my phone, on the app. I just saw this tweet came up by Ian Rappaport. Wow. The Saints suddenly have a major quarterback question. Starter Derek Carr is now dealing with a shoulder injury that threatens his availability for this season, sources say. Carr is weighing his options, including the possibility of surgery. And I was just like, wow, wow, how that's even possible, bro. Like, this stuff just come out of the blue. 2 weeks before the draft. The draft is next week. I believe starts April 25th. April 24th or April 25th is on a Thursday. Is the day of the draft. This information came out. And there's just more to this story. And that's why I'm kind of glad that I kind of waited till all the details that everybody had came out. They kept this story close to the vest. And I'm pretty sure that the leak came out from Derek Carr's side, from his agent. The Saints knew about this a while back. There's so many layers to this story that ain't even funny. It feels like a work, like a script out of WWE. It feels like Derek Carr is turning heel. That's what it feels like. Derek Carr is turning heel. It's going through a heel turn, a real life heel turn. Cause ain't no way, you know. So I'm gonna just backtrack everything. I'm gonna just take it back to February. All right. Kellen Moore gets in. It's a week of week after the Super Bowl. Kellen Moore becomes the head coach to do the introduction, and he gives that vague statement about Derek Carr, complimenting him, but not, taking it as far as saying he's my starting quarterback. They asked him multiple times during that session, during that presser, and he said the same thing. He would not commit to Derek Carr being a starting quarterback. Then around, I would say Mardi Gras, leading up to Mardi Gras, the Mardi Gras holiday, right? During that time, the NFL Combine was going on, and then in that time, you start hearing the buzz, the rumors about Derek Carr it's most likely that Derek Carr will be the Saints star QB because of a remark that Mickey Loomis made to the New Orleans media at the combine. I'm paraphrasing when I say this, but he said that we believe we have somebody we can win with, and that's Derek Carr. So everybody's upset, of course. That announcement was made. That report came out. So a week after Mardi Gras, right? It's official. Bow. Derek Carr is restructuring his deal. The Saints are restructuring Derek Carr's contract, which will most likely confirms that he will be the Saints starting QB for this upcoming season, and he will get his reported $40 million, and you know, which will lead to a even bigger cap hit next season after the end of the season. Going into 2026, which at $69 million. So then after that, Kellen Moore starts saying things like he took the job. He knew when he took this job, he knew that Derek Carr was going to be a starting quarterback. He wanted Derek Carr to be his starting quarterback. Now, according to what I've read, what Underhill and the guys like Underhill putting out and others, is that this is a brand well, this ain't even a new injury. This injury does have nothing to do with what happened in the game against the New York Giants where he dived on, I believe, 2nd and 10 and pretty much tore up his I think it's non-throwing hand. Tore up that hand. This injury is more about it's like a lingering issue that occurred the year prior. Remember Carr's first year when he was consistently getting hurt but continued to play. That's what this is about. That's crazy though. So this is an injury that happened 2 years ago, 2 seasons ago. That was lingering with this dude that never really got looked at, allegedly. Now this is still a strange story to me, man. It's just the coincidence, man. The report during that same time that it was announced that the Saints were going to restructure his Carr contract, the report came out that Derek Carr was willing to do whatever it has to do, whatever it takes to facilitate a trade to another football team. But the Saints were adamant that he stays in New Orleans to be the Saints starting quarterback. Now, all of a sudden, this rumor, this report comes out 2 weeks prior to the draft. Then, prior to that, this report that came out Friday, you start noticing the Saints talk about. You start seeing tweets come out about the Saints um, working out, having private workout with all the quarterbacks. Did a workout with they met with Quinn Ewers 3 times, took him out to dinner. Went to dinner with Cam Ward. You start hearing rumors about the Saints trying possibly moving up to get Cam Ward. They had dinner with Jalen Milroe. They had a private workout with him that they say that went pretty well. On the day that this report was announced, they had a workout with Tyler Show, the quarterback out of Louisville. Had a workout with Kyle McCord, Will Howard, Jackson Dart. So that's why that stuff was happening. But the Saints already, everybody already was saying that the Saints need a quarterback, so nobody really felt as though that this injury was the reason of that, was the result of that, was the cause of that. You know, so that's why I said that this story. This is a very layered story. It has multiple layers to it. So Carr knew. Then something else came out, right? So the Saints, now they didn't say which wide receiver, but Nick Underhill said that one of the wide receivers wanted to, work out with Derek Carr, like have some, throwing sessions with him, some receiver to quarterback to receiver sessions with him in a workout. And they were saying that he was acting funny in regards to that situation. He was acting kind of strange. Then Underhill said that he heard a story about a rumor about Carr having shoulder issues, but it still was a no biggie. So I mean, it's just something just sounds up, man. It just sounds the timing of this report that came out just sounds strange, bro. Because the other report out there is that Derek Carr didn't want to be here. Doesn't really want to be here. He hasn't talked to nobody. There's, wasn't there for the Super Bowl. Mardi Gras, I can understand. People that's not born here, not that's not from here originally, or not in the all the surrounding areas. They really don't care for Mardi Gras. Not everybody, but some people. But he hasn't said anything. Carr hasn't come out and said anything. But what's crazy about this is that the Saints really, really don't like any outside options at quarterback. The Saints don't really have nobody to turn to because all the options really dried up. You know, on the day this report came out a few hours earlier, Joe Flacco came back to the sign with the Browns again. Sam Darnold signed with the Seahawks. Geno Smith got traded to the Raiders. Russell Wilson signed with the New York Giants. One idea I thought about, one possibility I thought about was bringing back Jameis Winston and have Jameis Winston as your bridge while you look for your quarterback. That option dried up because Jameis and Russell signed with the Giants. You know, pretty much all the options out there have dried up, unless you go after Aaron Rodgers. That's the last remaining option left. And whatever does Aaron Rodgers even want to play football again? Because this the last report that I heard of was that he was going to the Steelers. It was very likely that he was going to go sign with the Pittsburgh Steelers. So all you have right now is the options on your team: Spencer Rattler, Jake Hayner, Ben DiNucci. So to me, this is what I think. This is what I think. This is what I think might happen in regards to the draft. A couple things. I think the Saints always ignore the outside noise. They're really good at that. I think the Saints are going to still try to compete for the NFC South. And how they're going to do that is with Spencer Rattler. They're going to they're going to hand over the reins to Spencer Rattler and see what happens. However, I do still think the Saints are going to draft a quarterback in this draft. I don't know that quarterback's going to be Shadur Sanders at 9 or Jackson Dort. I think the way I see it, if you're going to roll with Spencer Rattler, give him some help. Give him some help. In the first or second round, give Spencer Rattler some help so that way you give him the best chance of winning this job long term. If Ashton Genty is available at 9, get him. If you like Ted McMillan that much at 9, get him. If you like Tyler Warren, the tight end out of Penn State, get him. Um, the offensive tackle Kelvin Banks, you like Kelvin Banks at 9, get him. He needs protection. He needs a weapon, another reliable weapon. I've always wanted to know what Spencer Rattler would be like if you give him what a healthy supporting cast, what a healthy Chris Olave, what a healthy Rashid Shaheed, what a healthy Jawan Johnson, what a healthy Alvin Kamara, what a healthy with Foster Moreau. I've always wanted to know that, and we may be finding that out. And if it don't work, cut ties, and you'll have the number one pick in the draft next year, at least a top 5 pick. Or another scenario, another route they can take, they can roll with a Rattler and trade out their night spot. They can do that as well. I think that's another smart move, and add more picks. You know, I'm down for whatever. I don't have an issue with them taking Shadur Sanders. If you're that's only if you're confident of Shadur. If you believe that Shador could be a 10-year guy, a 10 to 50 year starter in the NFL for your team, for this team. If you're unsure of that, I don't want him at 9. That's only if you don't like him at 9. If the Saints are not confident in Shador Sanders' abilities at 9, then don't do it. Maybe you like him in the second round. That's fine. But my gut feeling is that they're gonna try to roll with Spencer Rattler and see what happens. They're gonna roll the dice, and if it worked, great, great, because you'll have a head start. You have a leg up going into next season, where a lot of these expensive contracts will be coming off the books. And if it doesn't work, still great, because you have a top 5 pick, top 5, top 3 pick. You should, you know. So it's you know it sucks. You know what I'm saying? But I'm still kind of suspicious of why this stuff is happening like this. Derek Carr is not talking. This is an injury that occurred a season prior, and now it's hurting. What kind of shoulder injury is that? It's so bad that it didn't get looked at in January. Why this stuff didn't get looked at in January? Why you didn't have the surgery in January? You know, I saw somebody's tweet the other day when this happened. I think it was yesterday. They were saying when Drew Brees had that supposedly career-ending injury with the Chargers, this dude was ready to go by training camp, throwing in 2006. And Derek Carr, man, it just sounds suspect. Like I said, it sounds like a work is being done. Like Derek Carr is turning heel. You know what I'm saying? So, but I think hopefully, man, more information will come out on the situation, bro. Hopefully, but I think this is a ploy by the agent, bro. The agent, an agent does things like this on purpose, intentionally do things like this for their clients. So I think, I think they're gonna roll with Spencer Rattler. That's what I personally think gonna happen, and they'll take a quarterback maybe in that second round, second or third round, and I think they're gonna give Spencer Rattler a leash to prove himself. And if it's not working out in those first, let's say 5 to 7 games, 8 games, they're gonna go with the rookie and they're gonna see what he does. And if that guy's not working out, they'll start preparing for the draft. You know, for a top, they'll be preparing to get a top 3 pick, a number 1 pick. Who knows? But um, interesting times we're in right now. Interesting times we're in right now in the New Orleans Saints. This type of news, pretty much. I mean, I still think it's a shot, man, but they need players, man. They need to get better on a lot of areas. Outside of quarterback, they need to get better. So it'll be interesting to see what they do, how Mickey Loomis responds to this situation. Is he going to finally give in to a full blown rebuild? Because I told y'all in the previous video a while back that Loomis will blow this team up. The only way Loomis will blow this team up completely is if he absolutely have to. The only way. So this may be the way. This may be time to do that. But Loomis gonna go down with a fight. So I wouldn't be surprised if they try to pursue Aaron Rodgers. That would be typical Saints, on brand for them, to refuse to quit, to refuse to give in to this rebuild. Well, they already rebuilding. They just don't want to admit it. They are rebuilding. But we'll see how it all play out. All right, so I'll have you off right now. Give me a like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Let me know how you feel. what is the best? What do you think is the best option for the Saints to pursue in regards to the quarterback situation? In regards to now that Derek Carr is could possibly be out for a significant portion of the season or the entire season, and check out sportsview360.com for the latest content on the New Orleans Saints organization. Have a blessed day. Peace. I'm out. Who that?